if Penelope was the like a villain, you would at least you know her origin story, right? How she became the
Make a
villain.
good villain. She would make a
Yes.
good villain. Hi, this is Juniper,
Hi, this is Elle, and
and
welcome
welcome
back.
to, yes, another episode. And today we're going to take a slight detour from our usual, which is, we typically, at least in our previous few episodes, have talked about Asian dramas, right? Mainly C
Mm-hmm.
dramas, and then took a detour to BL land with Thai drama. And then, so today we're going to do American, although it's really a American pretending to be British adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about Bridgerton season 3 on
Yes.
Netflix, because it
Mm-hmm.
is top of the charts, which means everyone or a lot of people are watching or have watched it. Just like a lot of people watch its first two seasons.
Mm-hmm.
We both watched previous two seasons as well. Kind of can't say we loved them or hated them. We have ambivalent feelings, and today we want to talk about our blank feelings, fill in the blank feelings about Bridgerton season 3, which is the story of the third Bridgerton brother, Colin Bridgerton, and their neighbor across the street, the what would you call her? The wallflower? No, she's not even a
Mm-hmm.
wallflower, because she's kind of, not the slim, slender, tall, beautiful goddess like, or swan like girl in the typical shows of this genre, even from season 1 and 2, but more like
Right.
short and somewhat overweight, um
Voluptuous. She's voluptuous.
a bit more than voluptuous, I would say. Those
Curvy.
curvy er
Yes. Yes.
so
Um, yeah,
thoughts.
so thoughts. So we read the books a long, long time ago, and I know when written by Julia Quinn, and I remember when this first came out, we were super excited, and then
You mean season
we
3 or that the
no
entire season 1?
the entire thing. So okay, so I was not looking forward to season 3 because I thought
Ah,
Colin was probably the least. I was not
yes,
looking forward to Colin's season. Let me
yes.
say that.
He's the
So
least
the
favorite Bridgerton brother and the
yes, and
second least favorite Bridgerton sibling. For me, okay? Just so you know, in case
yeah,
that
like
wasn't
I
your.
don't. Yeah, he was not. He didn't really strike me. He was very unmemorable or forgettable in the first season. I mean, he was like the little kid brother, right, in the first season,
Hmm.
and then and and so the first season I actually hated Anthony, who's the oldest brother, but then Anthony was the second season, and I was like, oh my god, he's so swoon worthy in the
Yes.
second season.
180. You're just like, oh, we
Yes,
love Anthony now. We
we
love
love
to hate him
Anthony.
on season 1. We love to love him in season 2. We
Yes,
thought maybe a miracle of that magnitude would happen with Colin, and
right.
I would say no, that did not
No.
happen. He's still bland as ever, a bit more chiseled,
A very chiseled, actually,
but
because
but
I
it's
saw
kind of
clips
weird
from.
looking.
I think I don't know how old he is in real life, but he definitely lost a lot of baby fat or something. Like he definitely looked less cherubic,
Well,
and
if you look at previous seasons, I had to go refresh, right, my memory about, because the whole point of Colin and Penelope is that they build up to this. It's not like he
mm-hmm.
just met her in this season, like every other story, right? Like
Right,
they knew
right,
each other and they were kind of best friends. So I had to revisit the past seasons to see how they kind of hinted or build up towards this season.
mm-hmm.
And I have to say, he was like pudgy in one and weirdly skinny in another. I'm like, oh, he just is all over the place, right? Which is normal. But then,
Mm-hmm.
even with all that fluctuation, when season 3 came, I was like, what happened? Like, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to like this or not.
Yeah, I okay. You know, there's an early scene where he's like at the brothel. Do they call
Oh,
it the
shirtless?
brothel? Yeah, like he's making out with like two girls or whatever. I
Yeah.
was not feeling anything. I felt I felt dead inside. I was
Yeah.
like, it's like
Wow. That's music to any man's ears. Like, I felt
I put
nothing
I
when I
put
saw you naked. It was just dead to me. Dead inside.
did feel dead inside. I was like, I'm not like I felt nothing. And And I was like, oh my God, I hope he has better chemistry when he gets together with Penelope. And
we'll leave that for a little bit later because the answer is didn't.
it's still dead. Still dead. So so do you want to start with what you did like or you didn't like? Because I know we have
yeah. So I actually, I actually thought so. They released this in 2 halves, which they've never done before, right? It's 8 episodes still in total, but they did 4 episodes as part 1, and then waited like a month, I think, right, between to then release part 2. Excuse me, I have a stuffy nose, so this is gonna be great. I actually thought so. I would say that part 1, when I first started, I was like, "Ooh, what is this? Like, where are we going with this?" Right? Because there was like a coming off of a cliffhanger about Eloise knowing who Lady Whistledown is, right? The gossip columnist, who is actually Penelope. And then Penelope being upset at Colin because she overheard him disparaging her in a way, saying, "Oh, I would never be interested in her." Yeah. And her feelings being hurt, and then he had gone off on travels, oblivious to the fact that he like really hurt her feelings. We start season 3, him coming back. He's like the man about town now, a ladies' man, and first of all, he's just kind of oily or greasy when he's trying too hard. Okay, he came off the whole season. He like, look, I give him props for like chiseling himself up, but he just felt like what did I say to you? Like a waxy Ken doll. Like a bad waxy Ken doll. He literally looked like that. And I was like, what is wrong? What happened? I kind of want just teddy bear, pudgy, clueless Colin back. And then Penelope, I mean, they make amends, and he kind of helps her chase men to marry her because she's getting old, right? She's gonna be
he's helping. He said he'll help her find a husband.
Yeah. And of course, what happens? They realize, well, he falls for her eventually. Yeah. Which is the whole point of the book, right? But what I didn't... So I like that part when he starts to realize he likes her, but she's now interested in Lord Devlin. And Lord Devlin, the other guy, is very interested in her. Which, by the way, I think Lord Devlin is very lovable. Okay? He's
very sweet. He's sweet.
He's very sweet and kind.
He's kind. He's he's not judgmental like some of these other people.
Extremely affable, but not like spineless or like a character. Like, he has a personality. He knows what he likes. I feel like Colin has no personality. I think that's my biggest gripe with Colin. He's kind of like undefined.
It's funny you say that, because my impression is they were trying to drill into the audience that Colin is the one with a personality and Lord Doubling is the one with no personality, right? Like, they try to make it seem like Lord Doubling, all he cares about are birds and nature.
You think so?
I felt that way, yeah. Like, when I was watching it, they made it sound like you're gonna have such a boring life when you marry him. Like, there were no women going after Lord Doubling because they kept thinking like they're gonna be out in the
it's incompatibility of hobbies. I don't think it's that you're saying he has no personality. It's just that he has such a unique personality.
Yes. I'm saying the young ladies were seeing like an isolated, like you'll never see the city again. Like, you're gonna be then they say that like it takes a fortnight to get to his estate thing.
Probably. Like, and then he was gonna go on like a not a safari, like a Northwest Passage or something very dangerous.
And the wife would just the wife would be just home in this estate that's in the middle of nowhere. So I think that's where people thought like, oh, that's a really that's it. That's the end of your life. Like, you'll never be part of society. I think that's how it was drilled into their minds. I'm not saying that's what he would have done as a husband.
Yeah, I would argue though that I don't know if they were trying to do this or not. It's implied or actually blatantly said that Colin doesn't know who he is. And that's why in the books, by the way, I revisited the audiobook just to refresh my memory, because this is not exactly following the book, right? Of the Penelope Colin storyline. He is a little bit aimless. Like, he doesn't know who he is. So he kind of becomes this affable person that everyone likes and the ladies' man about town, which is kind of true, right? That's how they started season 3. He is like a popular bachelor now because he's so agreeable and handsome and smiles and
He said all the right things, right? Like, every woman that came into his path.
Right. He had no personality because it wasn't him. So I would argue that they actually are saying he doesn't know who he is. And what I started, so I didn't like that. And obviously, that is what they're trying to say about Colin, right? And Penelope is supposed to help him find himself because she really does know who she is. It's just she's so been beaten down by society, right? And their prejudices against how she looks and who she is. But I would say that because of the way the story is told or not told, maybe, because in the book you can sort of get his inner monologue or how he feels, right? Or descriptions. You don't see any of that in the show. So you're just like, wait, he's just kind of, I would say Colin spent most of the time, except for the few moments in the first half near the end when he starts to realize his feelings. And he's like, kind of like, what was that? We like the squirm factor, right? When people are jealous and they squirm or are made to suffer because they're like, oh, I actually like you, but now what do I do? Because I kind of like
you're about
hurt
to
my
lose
own
that
chances.
person.
Right.
Yeah.
That was when I liked him most during the whole season. Every other time he just felt like this empty, right, waxy Kendall, empty vessel, standing around looking confused, lost. A lot of times also just angry about I don't know what. He cried more than I think Penelope did towards the end. I was like, wait, why is he crying? Because he felt betrayed by her secret that she's whistledown and he didn't know. I'm like, what? He's crying? So to boil it down, Colin spent the whole season to me being empty and clueless, looking very, very lost. And then Penelope spent most of the season in a panic attack and panting and her boobs just heaving up and down. Like, that's what I noticed, okay? Like, to distill it down, I was like, I'm assuming that she's gonna bust a vein very soon and just explode.
So I will say in her defense that I mean, honestly, I don't know if what she did was considered a crime, right? So I'm sure
you
there's
mean
this,
like the gossip whistle
yeah,
down?
yeah,
It's scandalous.
Yeah, it's scandalous, but I don't know, like, do you get beheaded over these things, right? So
no,
I don't,
you just get outcast
she's
potentially,
and they were
socially.
already kind of outcast, right? Like the mom was trying so hard to keep them not be outcasted, and I don't know, outcasted is a word, but I felt really more actually. Okay, so by the end, I actually liked the Featheringtons. They were so cartoony in the first season. Like
they were genuine.
Yes, like the sisters, even when they talk, they're actually how siblings would make fun of each other, like that kind of, like making fun of each other, but it's not like there's no hard feelings.
You can tell that they still love each other when, like, they are a togetherness family. When the irony is the Bridgertons are supposed to be that, and I'm not saying the Bridgertons as depicted in the show aren't that, but oh my god, I walked away from this season going, I hate almost all of the Bridgertons. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You hate so okay. So I think what you're trying to say, the Bridgertons are supposed to be the family everyone loves. Even the characters, like Lady Danbury, is like, I love the Bridgertons, and then Penelope's like, I love the Bridgertons.
Empty and shallow.
But the Bridgertons are actually very foolish people who
and self-righteous in some ways.
Yes, like they think they've been put on a pedestal, right, due to their looks or their whatever, like due to their, I don't know if it's like a reputation. I guess they all have stellar reputations, right? And then the other people are all around them are just like trying to not.
It's like they know they're the star of this story.
Yes.
Like, I am the hero of this Disney story, and therefore.
Yes. And so, actually, I feel like as the seasons have progressed, like this being the third one, because some of those leads didn't return, right? So now they have these other side characters that they're showing more. Like, I actually like a lot of the side families that are not Bridgerton related at all. Like the guy that owned the club, you know how his son inherited this earldom,
barony.
I like that family. I like that couple. Like the wife and the husband. They're so good. Like there's actually romance.
Can we just change the show? I want to spin off with Cressida Crowley now because I actually care about what happens to her more.
Cowper.
Sorry. Like you know what I mean, right? She was such
she became interesting.
Yeah, the way she taught Eloise kind of to be better in some ways. I was like, thank you, Cressida. Because I mean, okay, let me just say this now before I forget. Eloise this confirms Eloise is the least likable person ever on the face of the Bridgerton universe. Not just the least likable Bridgerton. She's just a horrible, what Biatch. So annoying. She gave her ex-best friend a friggin' nervous breakdown.
Well, yeah, because she was like, you have to tell by midnight or I will. And it's like, why would you do that to her?
Like, sanctimonious. I was like, she couldn't have been born like a deaf mute?
Yes. Well, to her defense, she was slandered by Whistledown. And I think that was one part of it. And then it was the betrayal that it was the best friend that wrote it. And then, of course, Penelope, when she thought Colin was sort of like no longer the Colin she knew, she also wrote kind of not so nice
she was
things about
vindictive
him.
too. Yeah, So I don't like Penelope either, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah.
She's not really that likable.
She was she's definitely, she uses her, she's a little bit of a victim, like a person
poison pen. She's a poison pen.
Yeah.
And then uses her victimhood to justify her actions. But of all of those three people we are so much disliking, she's the least dislikable, I think. Because she at least has a persona that you're like, okay, I kind of get it. And good for her that she can do XYZ, right? It just, she has panic attacks. Maybe her corset's too tight. Maybe that's why her boobs are always like about to pop out.
I always thought they looked like they were
like, and then there were some angles, some of the shots when she's hiding things on the floorboards. I'm like, dude, do we really need to see this angle?
Yeah. So I will say though, if Penelope was the like a villain, you would at least know her origin story, right? How she became the villain.
A good villain. She would make a good villain.
Yes.
Just like Cressida, now that you know her origin or background, you're like, okay, I get it. Like why she's like that, right?
Yeah.
Like she's a sympathetic villain, just like Penelope is a sympathetic, flawed character. I don't have sympathy for Eloise. And the more they try to, I'm assuming they want us to like her, or maybe they just want us to hate her until her season, if it ever comes. It better not be the next season, because I'm waiting for Benedict. The only reason I keep watching Bridgerton is because I like Benedict.
He's your favorite.
I feel like he's my only one, and Anthony. Well, Anthony became a caricature in this season, so unfortunately.
Well, he just the cameos, They shipped them off to India, so we won't be seeing them for a while.
But even when he appeared, it was kind of like,
it was a little too much. It was a little too. It was too in the nose, on the nose.
On the nose, like shout from the mountaintops how happy we are. It's like, okay, we liked your season enough, so I'm waiting for Benedict. He's like the normal one.
Did you read the comments like that? People felt like him and Eloise have good chemistry, but then it's kind of gross because they're supposed to be brother and sister. Like when they have those like swing side chats.
Oh yeah, because they're more like honest, like modern people. They're more modern next to each other in that universe.
Yeah. Like they don't give sibling vibes, is what people are saying. Like when in those scenes. Yeah.
No, I don't see it, but I can see them playing in the rom-com. Yeah. So yes, we did not love. Like season 3, I feel like the first half has some promise. Second half did not even deliver that, and it was just boring. I didn't care.
I was very uncomfortable watching the carriage scene. When he jumps in the fourth episode.
Oh, really?
I don't know why. Okay, first of all, like I said, I was very dead inside watching him with 2 other girls. And then when I saw him and her, so I think the problem is not that they lack chemistry, or maybe for me they do, but I felt like the switch was weird. Like he went from like we're friends, like, and then suddenly, oh my god, I'm jealous. Oh my god, I want to jump you. I don't. It was not. The build-up did not feel right. There was not enough tension. I mean, you knew she liked him, so of course she was happy with whatever he was gonna give her. But I felt like his shift.
Their sex scenes are just like people are probably like, oh, you guys are just what is it? Not sexist. What do you call it? Like because she doesn't look like a standard supermodel.
No, I think she's beautiful. I think she has beautiful eyes. Like
pretty good looking people on their own, but together, oh my god, pair them with someone else because it's so uncomfortable. And they're supposed to be really good friends in real life, right? But so character scene didn't make me feel that way, but it was a very sudden turn. And you're just like, how is this? Is this sexy? Like, why is he suddenly fingering her? Like, like, am I allowed to say that? I think so, right? At least. And then aren't there coachmen out there? I was like the whole time thinking, no one heard that? No, I mean, I guess the carriage is loud.
They pretend they don't hear, right? That's
so
the master
that was
servant.
bad enough. At least that was sort of with the story. But then the beginning of the second half of the season, they had their proper sex scene. And I think I texted you and you thought it was hilarious. Because what did I say? I was like, ooh, what's going on? And how did that sheet just magically get placed on his butt? Like it was staged.
You said it was sex. It was sex by numbers, is what you said.
Yes,
I think. I
didn't say that, but it definitely felt like that's what I felt. So maybe it came across.
Put arm here, put leg there.
Her position was uncomfortable. I would never want anyone watching this to learn how to have sex by watching those two. Okay, that is not good technique, or it's not passionate. It was a lot of color and makeup. And oh, by the way, speaking of the makeup, what happened to the makeup? Like, did someone from the 80s get transported here? Like, the blush. They all look like harlots.
No, not just the makeup, the clothing. The first season, I felt like they tried to at least make it somewhat historically accurate with the Regency period, which is, I think,
more bland colors.
Or even the cut, not so much,
more modest.
Yeah, the second season, I was like, all right, they introduced the
Sharmas.
Sharmas, yeah. So there was the Indian sort of inspiration. Okay, so I can buy that. This season, I'm like, I think they just threw all the rules out the window. Like, none of the costumes were like Penelope's hair was not Regency period hair. It was like, I don't know, it was like 1940s glamour Hollywood hair.
Well, it was just down the whole time, right?
Yeah, it's not supposed to be down.
To do that.
No, and the clothing. I mean, her dresses were gorgeous. They're very flattering. Colors were great on her. But okay, Cressida Cowper. Okay, her outfits. Her mom both had. It was like someone said it was like it's probably like the 1980s, like punk rock.
It was a very 80s
punk
aesthetic.
Rock. Yeah, like the big puffy shoulders, and I don't know what happened because I was like, okay, I can buy the whole like inclusivity with the casting. I can buy that. But I just felt like I can buy taking modern music and making it into, violent music.
God. I can't believe they played Yellow for her wedding march.
I was like, why not?
They ruined the perfectly good song.
But I don't know. Like, visually, it was too much. Because, anyways, that's just a little gripe.
It's a try too hard show from beginning to end. And they've tried so hard this season that there's nothing left. There's no substance. It's all what I call affectation.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? Like, let's pose this. Let's insert that element to be so cool and avant-garde. Let's be so diverse and do all this. I'm like, that's fine if you can make it all work. The problem is artistically, dramatically, entertainment value-wise, you forgot to do any of those things, so you fell flat completely on your face. Like, season 1, I did not love. Everyone loved that because I think my theory is because it was so new and there was so much sex. And the people were good looking. But I didn't like Daphne and the Duke. But part of it is also the Duke and I was just not that good of a baseline story to start with, right?
Right.
Second season was good, but even then it was a little bit forced, right? Between Anthony and Kate. Like, I always just felt like Anthony did a 180, which is fine. But Kate was such an angry shrew for most of the show. You're like, why so angry? Like, why?
Yes.
And then this one made the first 2 seasons seem like, golden age Hollywood, because you're like, what is happening? There's nothing happening.
You said it looked like a CW production.
Yes. It felt like amateur. Not amateur because they didn't put money into it, but like a bunch of high schoolers put this on.
Yeah.
And they didn't know what they were doing, so they were like, well, we believe this is what Regency, I mean, Bridgerton was never, as a TV adaptation, very good Regency realism by any means, and they weren't going for realism, but it just feels so like high school drama. I mean, let's be honest, Julia Quinn's source materials aren't exactly the height of Regency romance either. In fact, I mean, I moved on from Julia Quinn, right? Like, I like, what's her name? Lisa Kleypas much more from that type of genre.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It's a sensationalist, like, sensationalism for the sake of sensationalism in the books and now in the show. So, I'm only waiting for Benedict, except everyone keeps saying how Benedict's story is too problematic because of what happens.
Does he end up with Tilly, or is it going to be a new person?
It's not Tilly. Although Tilly is interesting, by the way.
Like Tilly.
She reminded me? She reminded me of an older version of Keira Knightley.
Really?
Her face at certain angles.
Get that? Yeah.
Okay, so that was the only sex scene that I was like, oh, okay, that's a proper sex scene. Like the threesome.
Yeah. See,
that was a proper sex scene.
I told you. I said he spoke 2 words to that guy Paul, and then they were at it. And like, guess what? It was sizzle. There was sizzle. There was fire. Like,
yeah, and they didn't show anything really that major. It wasn't like.
Yeah, it was a short. There was no courtship, right? But it was like like I said, I didn't feel dead inside watching it. You know, but I felt.
I just never thought anyone would say, "I feel dead inside when watching you make love." Like what?
But I'm saying when I watch it, I was like, oh, I actually feel like these are mature, consenting adults who are enjoying what they're doing. Is what I'm saying. Versus, I mean, I guess maybe that's true too because he was. Yeah, they were the only adults. Yeah,
in the whole season. Well,
in the whole show. In the whole show,
the older people like Featherington, the mom she's an adult, right? She's not perfect. She's an imperfect adult, but she is an adult. I like the story with Marcus and Lady Violet, their mom, Bridgerton mom. That was an adult romance, and that was nice. You know, I would like to see more of that, actually. And even Lord Devlin that we liked, he's more of an adult. He's an older guy, really, right?
Yeah.
Although I think the actor who plays him is not that old. They just made him look old.
He didn't look old. Yeah, he didn't look old.
Everyone else was like a baby and acting like they were, negative 4 years old. Even Danbury, who is an adult, technically. My God, what did I say to you? I was like, I can't believe her whole serious beef with her brother was because when he was 10... he told their dad that she was trying to like leave the house.
Yeah, run off with some guy.
Like, you're gonna get angry at your brother for something he did when he was 10?
I think he did something really bad, and I was like, oh, that's it. And like the poor guy, I was just like, what did I do to you?
Yeah, like I was, and his reasoning was totally normal. Like, I thought outside world dangerous for a young lady. I told dad because I thought that would be bad for you.
Yeah.
Right?
And the thing is, this poor man has been like hated upon for like 40 years of his life.
I was like, oh, Danbury, you are just and then the queen, what is she just like perpetually PMSing?
They make her, she's become a caricature. I feel like she was interesting in the first season. Now it's like she's just this bored, she's like Marie Antoinette, like she's just bored and
don't give Marie Antoinette a bad rep, okay? She doesn't deserve that, okay? Don't pile it on just because she got her head like cut off. I'm serious though. Like, what is wrong with this woman?
But that's what they went in. She's like that though. She's like a let them eat cake kind of thing. Like, I'm just here to like, you people are my entertainment. Like, her subjects are her entertainment, right?
I don't think Marie Antoinette's let them eat cake was
no, I know.
Statement. I'm just that was an ignorant statement, by the way. Yeah, she's not. Oh, there's no bread. Why can't they just eat cake?
No, but that's what I mean. That's what I mean by caricature. Like, she's like the modern interpretation of caricature-wise of that historical.
So annoying. Like, she went and like made everyone leave their wedding. I was like, what? What is wrong with you?
Can people do that? I guess so.
I mean, she's the queen, but why? Yeah. Like, could you not find a better time to do this? It's not like the Bridgertons are never under the same roof.
Yeah, I felt like this would have been a good season to actually humanize her more, but they actually went the other direction.
They humanized the other people. Prequel. They made a whole prequel
I didn't watch
about
that.
the queen.
Yeah,
so I'm like, this does not make me want to watch the prequel at all.
Yeah.
Like, she's just another BIATC, CH. I can't spell. Yeah. I know there's no A in there, but
sometimes there's an A.
Yes, it's
Depending
extra. It's the
on how you
extra
say
B.
it, how
You're
you
an
want
extra
to
B.
pronounce it. So how would you rate this?
Do I have to? I mean, look, we obviously watched it. I think we ended up basically almost like a hate watch. No, we watch it out of obligation, right? Because it is one of those like, oh, everyone's talking about it, or everyone will talk about it dramas, and it's short enough. And I honestly would give it like a 5.5.
Oh, I'm gonna give it a 3.
No, it's not horrible. It's just so boring and trying
Okay.
so hard.
My favorite Colin scene was the scene where on the last episode when she reveals her identity to everyone, and he finally like told her how he really felt, like the fact that he was proud of her, the fact that he was also slightly jealous or envious of her because he was an aspiring
The real
writer. And
him.
yeah, like that was the only time where I was like, oh, that's the Colin I've been hoping to watch this whole season. But they didn't show that side of him, you know? And I feel like it's like they didn't want us to see that side of him until the end, and it didn't it wasn't as satisfying. But
You know
I
what it
guess it
is?
redeemed him.
They maybe they chose to shine the spotlight on her too much because she's so much more special, right? Because she's representing so many unique elements of society that they had to make it all about her. But in doing so, they forgot about him. He's just a
Yeah.
prop. Whereas in the
Yes.
book, he finds about her pretty early on, actually.
Mm.
And in fact, they get married after he proposes. I think after. And he does find himself more because, like, when she in the show, they had the scene where she read his diary or journal.
Mm-hmm.
Remember? That's when I think she realized he's a good writer. She encourages him. There's a lot more encouraging him to write and find himself and his voice in the book, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like, than in the show. So I wish the show had done that, right? Like, have equal spotlight and footing for the two leads of that season of the story, and then have more of them as they grow together, like help each other find that footing post marriage and see how that the more fleshed out personas of each work together as partners. That would have been a refreshing take.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? You
I think
spent most of the time like I said, her having panic attacks and him crying and her having panic attacks and heaving boobsies and you know, oh no, what do we do now? Oh no, no, no. It's like every moment was like, oh no, 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 no. Like, okay, we can't just be living on the precipice all the time, right? Like,
yeah. Yeah, I think they wanted the show to thrive on drama, but like
it was no
when you
drama. It was all manufactured.
yeah, I thought, and when you read a romance novel, you want the romance, right? You're not there to read the drama. I mean, you want to see how
Well,
they
you
get
want
together.
romantic angst and conflict
Yeah,
because
and
of romance, not because of
right. Not because you're worried about this other stuff or other people outing you, or yeah, it becomes a different focus in the story.
Yeah, so disappointing, but I'm really hoping, fingers, toes, everything, legs crossed, you know, that next season will be about Benedict. But they say it's going to be Masquerade Ball coming up, which is where he's supposed to, in the books, meet Sophie, except she's behind. It's like Cinderella.
Oh,
right?
okay, yeah. Okay, I keep forgetting his story. I now remember. Oh, you know the one thing I didn't mention. We didn't mention Francesca.
Oh, yes, very pretty. But
so
she even became annoying by the end. We're so naive and awkward. That got old. Okay, her and what's his name, Lord Kilmartin.
Yeah,
like two little innocents.
So, I read in the comments that in the books, I never read her book. She doesn't end up with him. I think at their wedding, she ends up with his cousin. He dies, but he has a cousin named Michael, and I don't know if
years later.
Yeah,
yes,
but I don't know if he picked up Michaela. Yeah, so they're gonna make her, I guess, bi. I guess. Yes, I don't know how that's gonna work because. Yeah, I mean, I understand why they're doing this. It's just the direction they're taking the whole series of books, but yeah. Anyway, so I wonder
how. Right? Why adapt I guess. I mean, I know the people are up in arms about the whole Michael Michaela thing. Like, look, if I watch Bridgerton because I want to see my favorite characters' stories come to life, it would be kind of disappointing to me if you completely change 50% of the characters. Well, if you change 50% of the story, that's disappointing already, right? And then if you change how I envision that character, that's even double whammy. So I can see why people are annoyed, right? And up in arms about the Michael Michaela switch. I don't mind if they do it well. The problem is, so far, Bridgerton has not shown us in any of 3 seasons that they can do any of this well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very concerning.
Yeah. And, you know, by then, because most of these Bridgerton actors and actresses are also getting other bigger projects, right? So by the time you get to the kids, you know, like Gregory and Hyacinth, like you gotta wait a few years because those are still kids unless they recast them entirely. And then is there still, I guess, interest in their love stories because you're so far removed now from the original reason you're watching it to begin with, you know?
Why even call it Bridgerton, right? Like, it's like we hear this complaint about some of this C dramas. Like, they buy the IP, they adapt it, but they change so many things about the IP. They're like, why did you even pay money for the IP? Right. You could have just come up with your own original story and made it about.
Yeah.
Right?
It would have been cheaper to do that.
It would have been cheaper. Maybe you didn't have to make it all about Regency, fake Regency. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, yeah, as you and I grew up watching real, sort of historically accurate Regency, it is interesting to see how it's evolving.
It's just not a compelling watch, right? Drama of this kind, especially romance novel drama, should be compelling. And it doesn't help that we're also simultaneously still watching the C-drama The Double, right? That is a way more compelling show. You're like, I want to this next episode. I can't. 2 episodes, 1 episode a day is not enough. You know?
I know. I was texting you. Remember, I was texting you about I was like that one scene where there's no kiss and like that had more sizzle than the entire in the rain. I was like, I won't. Yeah, and then that had more sizzle in that one scene than like the whole 8 episodes of season 3 of this.
It felt like a slog trying to watch Bridgerton.
Yeah,
I have to say, I felt like that watching season 1. Season 2 wasn't as much of a slog. But season 3 was back to slogging it, man.
Yeah, I agree.
So, sorry to disappoint. Anyways. Oh, so I gave it was it 5.5?
I'm what like a 3.2.
Oh my goodness! Wait, I'm pretty sure I would have rated lower than you. How am I so generous?
Okay, so I didn't.
Can I adjust my numbers?
you can adjust it however you want. I think it's one of those where I will never rewatch it. I really didn't buy the romance. There's something wrong. Okay, look, I will never take away from the efforts of the actual people who made these shows, right? It's not about that. It's about how we feel as a viewer from just the characters, not anything
end
personal.
Product was not
end product for me is that I would not rewatch it, and as beautiful as these people were, there wasn't that romantic chemistry that made me believe that they were together until the last episode. Like I said, until the last episode where he did his little mini monologue, and I'm like, oh, that's the Colin I wish was in there more. I did like Penelope. I probably like her more than you did, but I liked her. I like that she didn't sway anywhere from her principles. Like she never swayed. Like she was very like, I know I need to do this. I understood where I went wrong, like haywire.
To a point, though, she's kind of a mean-spirited person sometimes.
Yeah,
right.
She admitted to it. Yeah,
I know, but also she's she's a coward in some ways. That's why she has so much panic attacks. Now, that is room for growth, right? Like, I think they set her up that way so she can grow out of her fear being put down by everyone. And people are like, oh, you can't, she's the poor victim, you're victim blaming. I'm like, I'm sorry, I just don't go for that kind of victimhood.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just not empathetic?
No, I mean, I think, the story went her way, right? Like, if the queen had denounced her, then she would have been ruined in society. So, that was the only. She had 2 paths that could have happened to her, and they made it a happy ending. So, I mean, even the fact that she gave birth to a son and he became Lord Featherington, that was a happy ending, right? That was
For her side of the family,
for
yeah.
her side of the family, right? That they had a male heir.
Yeah, I want to see more of Cressida. I want to see what happens with Violet. I care about Lady Featherington more. She's flawed, but she's a real person in some ways. And,
yeah.
You know what I mean? She deserves...
She even gave that talk to Penelope where she was talking about how she was not in a loving marriage, right? She did it. She was grateful to have her daughters, and you know, as like loopy as the son-in-laws are, they're still like they are family.
They're
right?
nice people, actually.
They're nice. Yeah, they're just little clueless. They're not rich, but
they didn't know how to have sex.
they didn't know how to procreate, but they were sweet people.
Funny.
Yeah, that was
a funny bit. Yeah, it's like,
yeah,
wait, what are you guys
doing? Oh, we're just kissing and we fall asleep. So innocent. So innocent. These innocent people. Yeah, it makes it hard to dislike them, or yeah, like, and then compared to the shenanigans that the Bridgertons are always up to.
Self-righteous, entitled Bridgertons.
Yeah, like I said, I love the other side characters. Really love the nightclub owner and his wife. Love their sweet little like romance. Loved like you said, Violet and the Marcus. Yeah, there were so many other stories that were more compelling, and like if you do like a little one episode spin-offs of each of those characters, I would watch all of them. I wouldn't like not
not
watch
the main
that.
show. Not
the main characters. Yeah. Anyways, I think we spent way more time than we had planned.
It didn't deserve this much time. Let's move on now. Move on with our lives. Let's close this chapter of the Bridgerton saga and never revisit it, as you say, because I hope it redeems itself. Maybe it's like, you know, one of those things where odd number seasons are bad and even number seasons are good. So, because Anthony's was better, right? Season 2.
Yeah.
Maybe season 4 will be let it be Benedict. Let it be Benedict. Maybe Eloise can stay away in Scotland for the whole season, never come back. And I'll be very happy.
All right. Well,
all right.
Thanks so much.
Until next time.
Bye.
All right. Bye.